Hey everyone, here's the most overpowered build in Borderlands 4 without having to have any of the DLCs. This is going to be for Harlowe, and it's exactly as crazy as you're seeing here. You don't even need perfect rolls to have this happen, and you can consistently get the Ultimate Vault Hunter 7 Platinum time. This is because there's some really nice new pearlescent weapons that fit this build perfectly, which are free to all players, and we'll also be using other weapons from previous raid bosses. And this setup will be perfect for the new takedown that'll be coming tomorrow, so best to get prepared for that, as this build is absolutely crazy, and it's using a few different mechanics here that we'll showcase in this video and break down everything regarding this. This will help you get the platinum, but also with this new takedown that is on the way. And we can deal some pretty outrageous damage using something like a war paint here, which increases our fire rate by 30%, and then looking for anything that will further increase our fire rate because of our infinite crit potential here, alongside getting infinite ammo from this. And the best part about this is it adds ammo to your inventory, so you don't have to worry about running out like some of the other Vault Hunters. On top of this, we get some pretty crazy shield restoration here, so we're near unkillable, and we also have lifesteal if things go rough. We have increased critical hit damage, a bunch of bonus damage to further increase our overall killing power. And the best part about this is you have freedom to use any weapons in the game that you want. I'll be mostly focusing on the ones that are free, but you can also, obviously, if you have the best gun in the game, Crow Source, throw that on this build as well. So to start off from level 1 here, we're going to start with momentum. Whenever we entangle an enemy, we get increased action skill damage. That's anytime we use our action skill to deal damage to an enemy, it's going to entangle them. So this is nice because it's going to further give us critical hit damage very consistently. Now, early game, neutron decay is amazing. It's great later on, but we can actually automatically activate this later. But you want to use radiation weapons early on in the game, so we'll take that. And then confirmative reality. This is one of the best skills in the entire game because this gives you and your allies their action skill back when you hit a target. Now, shotguns can basically give you your action skill back immediately, and we only need 2 points really in this. You can throw a third, but you're going to get your action skill back really fast with this. For the rest, we're going to throw 3 points into creative overflow. Whenever we deal gun damage based on our overshield, we get upwards of 36% if we have some overshield. So this isn't going to matter much later or much early, but later on you'll have infinite uptime on that. Now after this, our best course of action now is to grab Nuclear Winter here. So this is our augment, and then mixing it with 1 point of excited state at this current level. So whenever we deal damage with our action skill, the next shot on that enemy will be an automatic critical hit. Nuclear Winter turns our gun damage into action skill damage so that we're constantly getting free crits. That's how the infinite crits work. Now, on top of that, we can grab Harlowe's Certainty Principle. This will make you more accurate, so you don't have to aim down sights, which is really nice if you're zipping around the battlefield. And then we're also going to throw critical funding. This is one of the best skills, again, in the entire game, because we get our action skill infinitely, which gives us critical hits infinitely, which gives us our ammo back. So this has a 15% chance to add 5 ammo. This also means you can have heavy ordnance on this build and use it very well. The Heimdall heavy ordnance is amazing on this setup. Afterwards, we're then going to grab Meltdown. So we get our infinite crits. We then deal bonus radiation damage. 40% of the damage dealt will be turned into bonus radiation damage, which is pretty crazy because that also stacks and gives us our neutron decay. After this, we want to come over and take the right skill tree. So for levels 30 onwards, we're then going to max out Excited State. More critical hit damage is amazing since we're doing so many of them. Now, we got Distributive Function again. This is one of the best skills in the tree. 24% is shield restored whenever action skill damages an enemy. This is great if you're playing with friends because it'll also heal your ally shield, so amazing. And you'll also gain overshield if your shields are full. We'll also take a single point of accretion here because this gives us lifesteal for us and our allies as well against entangled enemies. So if our shield ends up breaking, it likely won't, but we do have some lifesteal to sustain ourselves. And afterwards, like these aren't, like we're gonna have our action skill back immediately. Pencils down is most useless. This doesn't help, so we're gonna take another point of distributive function just because that shield restoration is so powerful. After that, we're then going to grab more decoy here. I have +5 for my class mod. This is one of the most powerful skills because we deal increased damage with all sources to entangled enemies. And enemies that are inside our flux generator, so anyone that's close to us, whenever we're using the group study here, will take further increased damage. So that's 50% and then another 30. And bonus damage is going to take all our gun damage increases that we got from like neutron decay, so this becomes quite deadly. And we're also going to grab then Latent Charge. Harlowe deals bonus damage with guns, melee attacks, and action skills while she has overshield. The more overshield, the greater the bonus. So with Latent Charge, giving us creative overflow, also giving us 36% gun damage, and then another 50% bonus damage. This is pretty crazy because we're going to have overshield consistently. So all these work together very well. Now we're pretty much going to always have entanglements on, but you can throw this on whenever you apply a status effect to an enemy. It becomes entangled. This is nice because you can toss out grenades and get that to apply because our gun's going to already be entangling everything. So this can be good. You don't need the point here. And we have 7 points left. If you're playing with friends, grabbing mass function here will give increased reload speed for every entangled enemy, which is obviously really nice because we're going to entangle everything. Another good choice is to come into the red skill tree and take cyclotron, which gives us 20% extra fire rate. And if you want extra survivability, Main's Hum is really nice because this will give us increased overshield capacity, which is great because the more overshield we have, the bigger the bonus. This does scale kind of things up to make it a little bit more challenging, but you can go with this for more shield. Not needed because fire rate will end up giving us more DPS, and then we can, for the final points, take the increased reload speed. I'm going to say this one here for like your team, but again, we don't reload our guns really, so you can also come to the blue skill tree and grab Parallel Circuit whenever we trigger or re-trigger the action skill. We get increased gun damage. And we have so many bonus damage sources, so this, even the 12% extra gun damage, is kind of nice. But as mentioned though, Group Study is going to be our capstone ability here because this makes it stick onto us, give ourselves increased gun damage and fire rate per every time we activate it, so you can continually keep activating, although it would go by quicker. It doesn't really matter though, because we've confirmed with reality, so we get our action skill back near immediately, especially if using shotguns. But Nuclear Winter and Group Study are the main two that you always want to have. I did just post a build for the blue skill tree, which is actually possible to get the platinum time, but for this, I think the reactor class mod or the plasma fill. Now, plasma fill is obviously like, or phlebotomist is a DLC one, so you can use that. Plus 5 points of unstable isotope, that blue skill there gives you an extra 35% bonus cryo damage, which is really nice. But this one's from the base game and honestly really good. Despite this one got nerfed, this gives plus 2% movement speed every time we entangle an enemy. And once we get 10 stacks, we get 10% gun damage, fire rate, reload speed, and status effect damage. It used to be 20%, but even still, we want it for the 5 points in decoherence here. Again, giving us a huge source to our extra bonus damage. And then it can also come with some points into fissile launcher. So whenever we deal damage to an irradiated enemy, it'll shoot a radiation dart off to another enemy, which is just more radiation damage to trigger neutron decay. The generator class mod is all right too if you want to go with something like that. I just find decoherence is just such a good skill to have. And there's some purple ones that actually work really well as too. And again, if you get the DLC, phlebotomist works, but I honestly prefer the reactor class mod. Now, the best shield, since we have shield restore, we want watts for dinner with an amp, because when our energy shields are full, we can drain those shields. They're always going to be full because of our skills here. The distributive function just gives you so much amount of shield. But if you want to go with something a little different, the Super Soldier gives a 25% fire rate when your shield is full. So either of these work really well. I like the extra shock bonus damage, just so we don't use a shock weapon as much. But either of these would be the best in slot. And if you're mobbing, use the fireworks. It's just the best for that. Now our enhancement, since we're using a lot of Jacobs here, like this is Jacobs gun, Jacobs part, I really like the Quintain here. Actually, I meant to grab the hat trick here because you get to increase Jacobs ricochets by 1, and guns with Jacobs license spark rank consecutive critical hits of stacking plus 5 bonus damage for a max of 8 stacks. For the footage at the start of the video, I did not even use this. I forgot I had it on cache. This thing is insane. It's the best in slot by far. However, if you're using like a Torg weapon, you can go with one like the Stud Finder here, Big Banger. Some of the Torg ones are really nice, especially if you're using like a impact Torg weapon, BOD for example. And also the order enhancement if you want to use any order guns, but that's more so the DLC crow sourced obviously. But for our ordnance, I really like the waterfall, the Don't Go Jason waterfalls, because this can come with an artillery payload, so that shoots off bullets. That gives you your action skill back even faster. It's not necessary. The best would probably be the Heimdall, but that's a DLC weapon. You can use a Slippy as well. And if you also have the DLC, something like the Bismuth Tip Dagger can be nice. Crit Knife is not even kind of obsolete with this build because we already have crits, but early on in the game it can be nice till you get set up. Even things like the Disc Jockey are great because you can use any heavy ordnance since we got the infinite ammo. The Heimdall would just be the best choice. Honey Bunches Purple is also good, but I just like the waterfall to use guns alongside because you can't hurt yourself with it. And the best Repkit, Warpaint, just by far, because we don't need the triple bypass to get our action skill back. This gives increased fire rate, movement speed, and gives you an increased Repkit chance, or you get 2 seconds off the Repkit's cooldown time every you get shot. Find it with Enrage, or you can find it with a fire rate for an even further crazy fire rate, but the Enrage just gives you more damage, and the increased damage taken is negated by the fact that we get so much shield and life steal, so we don't even really need to worry about that. But our best augments, firmware, I like Skillcraft on here. This will further scale up your skill damage and skill critical hit chance. If you're using an order weapon, the active fire is best, but even 2 points of this increases the charge rate by 20%. So if you're using Ripper, that just means you get to use your Ripper guns even quicker. Ripper's honestly really amazing to have, but 3 stacks if you're using something like the Crow Source. Again, this is trying to be DLC free, but I do want to mention it in case you do have it. And for our weapons, now there's a lot that fit on this build. I really like the Gomi, especially if you can get it with a dataless shotgun and the Ripper part there, because the shotgun just shoots really fast. We get infinite ammo and a shock override. This is one of the best for the first phase of this boss fight. For the second phase, I like the Mantra, which you get from Bloom Reaper. This is a random drop, all the pearls except for that is. With the Mantra, look for a corrosive and fire. That'd be the optimal roll. Jacobs and Ripper as well. That just does an insane amount of damage. And if you're using that, the Mantra, you do want to have the bare arms increase melee damage equipped, just because it will actually give you 1.5 times any gun damage increases you get, because this is a gun and also melee damage. The best shotgun, in my opinion, for this setup is the Constable, because we can fire this endlessly. I really like the Hellwalker as well. So if you got a Hellwalker, that's what I use actually to beat this boss for the first time. The Constable's just a bit better because of all the projectiles that it can give you. But the TK's Wave is another good choice, and even an Impact bod. Sticky's okay too, you just have to swap it every like 14 shots to get the maximum damage after the nerfs. The Doe Shot's great if you have the DLC. The new jailbroken Gatling can actually work on this setup as well. I just prefer like the Juliet Sparkle, which is another choice. For mobbing, the Screw Stonian works great. Juliet Sparkle's great. I want to mention Flash Cyclone DLC weapon's fun. The Stray is also amazing. This is a pretty bad roll for the Stray, but if you can get a Stray that comes with the target marker that increases damage by 35%, that'll boost up our other damage weapons. You can start off the fight with that, and it'll just help you shred through it a few seconds quicker. Complex Root is another good one, especially if you can get the Atlas targeting or the shotgun underbarrel. Those would be like the two best rolls for this. And even the new Solar Temper is pretty solid for mobbing. And our specializations. I am a gun. We'll take our skill. This actually applies to skill damage, funny enough. If you check your skills here, it actually will transfer any gun damage into skill damage, not action skill damage. But we're also going to throw on Riddle You this for 50% extra gun damage. And this is nice because we can shoot really quickly with a shotgun and get this max instantly. We're also going to grab the best defense because we got a lot of sustain, so we can keep our health and shields full, giving ourselves 30% extra damage. I'm running bare arms because I'm using the Mantra, but if you're not using the Mantra, you can run with Bullet Train to get extra gun damage when you're moving. Contamination will apply status effects. Since we apply crits so often, this just doubles your chance of applying status effects, which does insane damage. You can also use CQC here to further increase your overall damage. And actually, if you want to, you could take off I'm a gun, and if you're using the Mantra, CQC plus that will do some pretty crazy stuff. And I'll show you how to do this live. So what we're doing is we're going to use our Repkit here to start, toss out our action skill. This should be in the shotgun mode, and blast away with it. Now, you got to watch for which eye is going to charge him up, because you have so much ricochet damage. You don't want to mess up like I did there. You want to make sure you don't run out of ammo, because we'll regen ammo as long as we keep shooting at him. And you can see there we're able to take him down really quickly. Now we can swap to our Mantra here, make sure it's in the corrosive version, or whatever corrosive weapon you're going to use, and then we blast away with that. So we get our fire rate increase, which you can see there is insanely fast, and just deleted the boss in seconds here. Even without doing this perfect, you can do some pretty silly stuff. We need to get our action skill back, so we're just going to shoot at a target here. There's going to be some that respawn here. You can toss out a grenade to get it back, 2 seconds, and now we're just going to shoot at the boss here, toss this out to get infinite crits, and chase Subjugator and just try to blast away with the Constable as much as possible. It's best if you can get under him like this, because you can see we're just absolutely melting him here. So yeah, goodbye. Sometimes you'll get lucky and there'll be enemies down here, but you can see we get our action skill back immediately because those extra orbs there. So yeah, you just basically go in, get close to him, and just try to keep blasting away. We have so much tankiness that you can just barrel stuff, get up right up inside the hole here, and just fire away. So you don't have to even worry, because as you see, his health bar is melting insanely fast. These extra orbs are just traveling right through him, and goodbye, platinum time easily. So yeah, this setup I can imagine will be very powerful with the new takedowns tomorrow. Subscribe if this video is useful, and we'll catch you in the next one.